Hi everybody, it's Barb from Eat for Health, and today we are going to have some fun with jackfruit. I have actually never cooked jackfruit before, so this could be a disaster, but we'll see how it goes. It's a recipe from one of my favorite cookbooks. It's Dr. Michael Greger's How Not to Die cookbook. And one of the things I really like about this cookbook is it has great pictures, and so hopefully this is what our recipe will look like when we're finished. It's called Sloppy Jacks. And let's talk about what you need for this. So first of all, we have half of a red bell pepper minced and half of a red onion minced. And then the star of the show, we have 10 ounces of jackfruit, which is super interesting. It smells kind of tropical. And we'll be able to pull it apart with the fork later, and it's supposed to have a really good texture. I have 3/8 of a cup of, it's supposed to be tomato paste, but I didn't have tomato puree, but I didn't have it, so I'm using pasta sauce because we'll make do with what we have. I have half a tablespoon of nutritional yeast, a half a teaspoon of a savory spice blend that also comes from this same cookbook, but you could use a no salt seasoning blend. Honestly, I have a friend who bought this cookbook because of this spice mix that I used one time. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika and a 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder. And then I have a half a tablespoon of stone ground mustard and a tablespoon of, it's supposed to be date sugar, but I had coconut sugar. So that's what we're working with today. It's spring 2020. We're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. We're all staying home and trying to social distance. I just want to encourage you to try and eat healthy for a couple of reasons. One is to keep your immune system up, and then the other is to try to avoid what I'm thinking of as the quarantine 15. So we're all staying home, we're eating, we're watching TV, we're not exercising like we used to. And when we come out on the other side of this, we don't want to have to try to lose a lot of weight. So let's get started with our recipe. I've got my electric skillet here, and I am actually going to start by sauteing in water my onion and my pepper. And I'm using water because that just helps with fat-free cooking. So I'm putting that in there. I'm going to turn on my skillet. I love this electric skillet. Those of you that have been to any of my Food for Life classes know that this is what I bring with me to do my cooking demos. And it's great. It's big. It's got lots of room. So we are going to get this water heated up. And while we're waiting for that to happen, then we are going to take our jackfruit, and I'm using frozen jackfruit. I found this at Whole Foods. It's actually been sitting in my freezer for quite some time, but because I don't want to go to the store very often, I came across this morning and remembered that I had it and thought, let's make some jackfruit. So in my bowl, I am going to season the jackfruit with the half tablespoon of nutritional yeast. Put that on there. And my half teaspoon of the savory spice blend. Oh, and I hear my water is ready. So let's put our pepper and our onion in there. Get that going. And then I'll just keep an eye on it. I'll add more water as we need to, but I'm going to cover that up and let that pepper and onion do its thing for a couple of minutes. All right, and then we have our 1/4 teaspoon of our chili powder and our smoked paprika. So I'm going to put that on there. And then we're going to mix that around and coat that. So we're getting that all coated on there. It smells good. So these might be weird ingredients to you if you don't do a lot of plant-based cooking. Honestly, you could probably do this with get a package of frozen jackfruit and some barbecue sauce, which is what I was going to do if I didn't have all the ingredients for the spice mix and the sauce on here. So that's coated, that's ready to go. And I've got my onion and pepper cooking. We're just going to stir that around a little bit. And that's looking pretty good. And then we are just going to add all of the rest of the ingredients together. And it needs to cook for about 25 minutes after we do that. So I'm going to put in my jackfruit. Let's put that in. Give that a little mix. And let's put in the tomato puree. It's always good to have pasta sauce around the house. And we'll do the date sugar and this stone ground mustard. I love this. I put this on my veggie burgers. It's really good. There's a lot of good flavor. Okay, so I don't want to scratch the bottom of my pan, so let's use this. I'm going to bring this forward now so you can kind of see what I have going on here. I'm going to mix this together. It smells good. Now I'm going to cover this and let this cook for about 25 to 30 minutes. And I'll keep an eye on it and add some water if it seems like it's starting to dry out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is stop the video, at least on my end, not on your end. And we will come back. I'm going to pause it and I'm going to let this cook up. And then we will do the next part of the recipe. Okay, so our jackfruit has been cooking for about 20 minutes now, and it is melding together really nicely with the pepper and the onion and all the spices. It smells really good, really savory. So the next thing we do is we're going to pull the jackfruit. So I'm going to be super careful not to scratch the bottom of my pan, but remember it was in chunks. So now I'm just going to use my fork to pull it apart with the smaller pieces. Let's see, we're careful here. So this might be something fun to try, you know, as you're going to the store and maybe they're out of things that you normally buy. This might be something interesting that you could still find because it may or may not be a hugely popular item. Okay, so I've got my jackfruit all pulled together there. I'm going to turn off my skillet. And while it was cooking, I just continued to add water to the skillet so it wouldn't dry out. But got it just about all pulled apart there. I'm planning on doing several videos, so hopefully you'll like my video and subscribe to my channel because I'd like to bring you some easy to do plant-based healthy comfort foods that you can be eating while you're home with your family and hopefully staying well and healthy. All right, so that looks pretty good. So I toasted up a whole grain bun and I'm just going to scoop the jackfruit onto the bun. So this is called a sloppy jack. And there we have it. We're going to eat it like that. It's going to be hot. So I'm just going to take a little nibble and let's see how it is. So that's good. The jackfruit is a little bit sweet. It's kind of tropical. It has a good texture, a pretty firm texture. And then with the spices and the red pepper and the onion, give it really good flavor. You could even add maybe some red pepper in there to give it a little bit of zing. I might do that next time. So if you try the recipe, let me know. If you have ideas for other things you'd like me to cook, put it in the comments. So don't forget to like and subscribe. So this is Barb from Eat for Health, and we'll see you next time.